Winter is here, boys. It is here. We actually have an unusual request. We need to get 2 dumpsters, 1 and 2 over there, over to a location about an hour away. So I'm doing just a quick check of the truck, making sure everything's good, tires are good, whatnot. Keegan already looked his truck over. We're good to go on it, but we're gonna just kind of tag team this one so we get it out of the way and we can quickly move on to a couple other things. Still love that container more than any of them. I will say we definitely need to replace some tires. They're at the kind of the end of their life, especially going into winter time. So I think that's going to be on the list for sure today. Kind of one of those things. It wouldn't be cool if we got stopped by DOT. They definitely pointed out, but I think we can get one more run out of them and just replace them. This is kind of the perfect day to get stuff done. Like, we need to get these unstacked, get these working for us. And not only that, it's just a really light day. We have a couple drop-offs. Tomorrow we have something like 8 pickups, which will not be fun. But this allows us to get stuff like that unstacked. We need to get tires on a trailer. And we, of course, have the apartment that we're still working on. So, plenty of things to get done. These are the times to get them done. I told Keegan that these people were very adamant to get our insurance information, making sure we had liability. So just to be safe, we're gonna give him some driveway protection on his trailer, and then I'll have some on mine. That way we know we're covered. It's not very common that a lot of contractors ask us if we have general liability, but these people wanted us to submit the paperwork and everything. So just the fact that they did it was enough for me to make sure we're gonna take all the extra steps to make sure we protect the property, get pictures of everything. Just gotta protect yourself nowadays, so you gotta think a little bit ahead. You should be going out of your way to protect your customers' driveways regardless, and making sure you're doing everything you can not to damage anything. But it's a sue happy world. When somebody's asking for my insurance information, A, it tells me they want us to be careful, which is good. And B, well, if they were, had bad intentions, this would be the time, was when they go, oh look, they've got $1 million policy. And I see a scratch in my driveway. So these are the types of things you gotta think about. Shoot, I didn't know we still had dinosaurs in Illinois. Well, why is there a dump trailer already here? That is not a good sign. I have a feeling there was some miscommunication. Not cool. Never fails. Too many cooks in the kitchen, that's all there is to it. Because my dumpster's still on the truck. Bottom line is, it never fails. You end up going out to these places that are an hour away and there's always an issue. What just kind of irks me a little bit more is I've got somebody asking me for my workers' comp insurance, my general liability, for a dumpster drop-off, which I get. You gotta protect yourself. But then you roll up and you've got a crew there that showed up with their own dump trailer that wasn't supposed to bring one because they found out that it was aluminum siding. They're gonna get, $200 for the siding off the side of this house, and that's a lot of money to them. So they brought their trailer and told their boss, don't order a dumpster, but that never came back to me. So it's gonna be a fat dry run for you. That's all there is to it. They actually almost tried to tell me not to drop either of them, and I said, hey, my driver's already dropped one on the ground. I can go back and pick it up, but again, that's gonna be another dry run fee, or you can use it for your remainder of the trash. And he said, you know what, leave it. The boss was cool. He was frustrated because, he's got crews that aren't listening to him, and he's paying for stuff he doesn't need now. But for me, it just feels like a royal waste of time. You guys are not gonna believe this.
You're doing good. I've always had my own business since
Directly next door, customer called me saying, hey, I saw you're leaving with a dumpster empty. Can I get that over here? Couldn't have worked out any better.
All right.
Okay, not a total waste of time, honestly, because we just dropped that dumpster to a completely different customer. And not only that, I'm gonna hit the original customer with a dry run fee, and since it's out of service area, it's gonna be a high dry run fee. And then I took that dumpster and I did not price it for the same. I gave it to him basically at our local cost because I was already out here, and I was, you know, going to charge the other customer a dry run fee. So at the end of the day, it's kind of a win. And I'll be 100% honest, I'm so glad it went to the customer it did, because he was grateful for it. He wanted to understand like what can go in, what can't go in. I could already tell that based on how big that siding job was next door, that dumpster was going to be overstuffed with just so much junk. They were tearing off every bit of siding on that place, the aluminum, and then the stuff underneath. So it would have been an overstuffed dumpster, no doubt in my mind. The funny thing is, I nearly ignored the call because it was such a weird number. This guy just moved to town, doesn't know anybody, and I almost ignored it because the area code kind of seemed Spanish. But then I called it back because I had a message saying, I don't know if you can receive text at this number, but please call me about that dumpster you have over here in Nauvoo. I'm like, oh, okay, that is a very specific thing. Obviously, this is not a bot. So, yeah, gotta seize those opportunities. Okay, so Keegan doesn't usually get a whole lot of downtime, so what I did is we actually got randomly selected for drug test. I've got a little bit more time that I can be flexible with. Keegan doesn't, so he's running to do that real quick. Hopefully he passes. He better pass. Keegan, you better pass or you're dead to me. Anyway, so outside of that, I'm jumping in the backup truck, the other backup truck. That way I can run around town. We're gonna get some more supplies from Home Depot so we can keep knocking out this apartment build. Should be tight. I ain't going nowhere. Why are you acting like you're asleep? You passed that drug test?
No. Probably gonna have to find a new driver.
Thank God. Finding one straight board at Home Depot can be difficult. Imagine now we gotta find 15 of them. Doing the impossible. When you're at Home Depot and you have to get a second one of these, you know you're spending too much money. What was that?
I said you're the most prepared person I've ever met.
Man, we'll get this on there. I still don't know how we're gonna get on the truck, but you know, we'll figure it out. Brought the wrong truck.
I don't know. This thing's gonna be.
It's gonna be like a sail in the wind. All right, yeah. I think we got it. We got it. It's getting a little tight. If it fits, it shifts. Yeah, that's what happens when you come unprepared. Oh no! Anyway, this is how it happens when you come unprepared. We were coming here for one thing and decided, let's get something else, get something started. And we opened that can of worms. We're actually gonna have to come back for some more. Okay, we managed to get it all here without losing anything. That's at least what I'm gonna tell you on camera. I'm gonna stay out of the contractor's way and move on to the next thing on our list. Baja Blast in my mouth. Need to get ourselves some more meat. I think we've had all of these in our tires. One more. We actually went ahead and got some wheels with it because, well, we've cracked a few wheels in the past just because they were old. So we usually go to a completely different tire shop, but I found out about these wheel and tire combos, and well, they were only like $10 more, so I said, why not? With how much gravel we go over, man, we make sure to always hit these so we get them off without tearing up the threads. All right, having a couple spare wheels will be nice because occasionally these do crack, but yeah, like I said, end of the life for these bad boys. But in a pinch, if we needed a spare, we've got more now. So believe it or not, these aren't as bad as I thought. If you know anything about the quarter test, I mean, the inside tread isn't too bad, but the outside thread, it's definitely kind of the end of its life. But like I said, keep these in the garage or in the shop. That way, if we ever have a tire that just spontaneously explodes, well, we at least have something we can toss on until we get a new tire put on. Aw, we got her dirty. We measure everything in ugga-duggas. If it's ugga-dugga a couple times, we know it's good. First time all my wheels have matched in a while. That's what happens when you have so many trailers and you're mismatching everything just to keep the day going. Get back here. New tires on the trailer and on the truck, just in time for winter. Another thing checked off the list for today. Winter's here. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. So, end of the day, got everything torqued down. Keegan already started the day today. He's running hard. I actually might have to step in and do a couple cans, but in the meantime, I'm starting early. I'm gonna try to get some other stuff done. Now that the business has grown the way it has, I always try to stay as close to home or the shop as possible in case something's needed, whether, you know, it's maintenance on an apartment, whether it's my contractors reaching out, or if Keegan has a breakdown, I can run out to him. I'm not traveling in the opposite direction. But before it gets way too cold to manage and there's snow on the ground and stuff, we definitely need to get these taken care of. And before I have a neighbor complain. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get these unstacked without Keegan. And if you've seen us do this in the past, it's kind of a two-person job. But I'm going to try to find a way to do it with one.
Bitch, that's a terrible idea.
So the way these are designed is they're supposed to sit in this pocket. But if you notice, this one's actually damaged. There's a reason that happened. I used to believe that these things could never bounce out. And when I'd go on a long trip, I'd pick them up and whatnot. I'd always put a strap on them. But for about, I don't know, a couple hours, I only had a very light strap on it. One of them broke, and believe it or not, it jumped out of the pocket. We had to do a little bit of some redneck stuff to get this thing back in.
Yeah.
Thank you to American AF down in Texas. When I was down there, he helped me get this thing taken care of. Right before I got on the road, we noticed it. So it's a good thing we were paying attention. Always do those pre-checks. This is actually his strap. Maybe I'll hold on to it until the next year and make sure to give it back to him.
A damn liar, man. That's not true.
I brought this bad boy out to work on a big fire pit project I have. I still haven't started it, but it will get done. It went out and got rented instead, but we got her back now, and maybe I'll actually start that project finally.
You sit on a throne of lies.
But at the end of the day, I'm not going to lift these things by hand. Should we just crush Keegan's car? Just... Nah, maybe next time. I've never actually attempted this by myself, so it's probably not the brightest idea. And at the end of the day, I honestly don't want to damage my driveway, but here I am. I'm going to do it here. I could bring it to the gravel. I only call it being lazy, but let's just call it a challenge. Man, I'm going to need some gloves soon. This is ridiculous. The winter is coming fast. Well, that sure ain't gonna have the height that I need. I shouldn't do this, but here we go. Oh, sketchy, sketchy. Okay. The theory is working. I need a couple more things though. Get some chains. Yep, definitely need that. Oh. Huh. When you're being unsafe, make sure to also be safe. Okay. The biggest thing we don't want to happen now is we do not want that container up there to swing into my garage door. This is so dumb. Don't do it at home. Oh, this is such a bad idea. It's too late now. I have committed. try to help it slide out just a little bit better. But I mean, we're really pushing our luck here. I mean, that is holding on. We need to readjust that. That's scary. We're gonna have to get something over here in the middle soon, because otherwise this thing's just gonna go crashing down on my concrete. Oh man, you need to do better maintenance on this thing, man. I definitely see your problem. Looks like you probably got a leaky head gasket. I mean, you need to really make sure you're always doing an oil change on these things. Just got to make sure you do that regular maintenance and it'll treat you well. And now I got to get it off. Oh, ain't that nice? Ooh, and slow. Holy crap. Rotate it on there just the way I hope. Now I got to get this end off. That's not cool. That is not cool. Woohoo! Touchdown! Okay, so that looks sketchier than it really was, because I had the jack stand, or the jack itself, still under here. So of course, well, that has wheels, so when everything moved, it moved. So we need to get that thing out from underneath there. In the meantime, let's get all this picked up before my wife gets home. So, can you unstack dumpsters without anybody else? Yeah. Should you? Probably not. You probably shouldn't do it that way. I seem to do it a different way each time. So, it's just fun to switch things up every once in a while. You know, I'd say that's not bad for a redneck. Just gotta get creative every once in a while. What's pretty crazy is it's mid-November, and normally this time of year I have quite a few dumpsters sitting. These are the only ones sitting. I mean, after today there'll be a few because Keegan's running around, but then we're dropping some more too. So even for mid-November, we're running out of dumpsters fast, which is a good problem. But we need to get these stickered up so that they're working for us sooner rather than later. Woo! This wind is brutal. We're getting these bad boys dropped off because nothing says rolling ops on them, and that's a problem. If you follow the channel, you've seen this place before. Evan does great work. Touchdown. All right, let's lower that down, stay out of the wind for a second. Those will be done soon. It's a good thing we can put them to work. And I'll probably end up using one of those cans for our toy drive coming up here soon too, especially since they're nice and clean still. Like I said, I thought I'd have to step in, and I sure do. We got to call for a couple drop-offs, so it's just kind of setting everything else behind. I'm pulling in right now to one of the coolest drop-offs we've done, and they have rented a lot of dumpsters from us over the last 2 years, actually. I'll tell you what, though. This is going to be a tight fit, if it works. Oh, yeah. Alright, we made it in, but we still got to make it out. Yeah. That'll be interesting. The rollers work. This is a plus. Look at that. Made for it. You spin me right round, baby, right round. That is insane.
Do you realize how huge this is?
So we actually did rub just a hair, but the cool thing is they're actually tearing that all off, and they're gonna make that door even bigger. So we just barely nicked the siding. Just barely nicked it. But the guy gave me the go-ahead. He's like, man, I'm tearing all that off. You just squeeze through here. If you're not worried about your dumpster, I'm not worried about this. So we got it. Part of the problem too is as you go down this little makeshift hill here, your back end pops up. So we had a little fix for that. This is why you just have to pay attention. So we just went ahead and we tilted it a little bit more. That way we could actually, level out the truck, or at least the dumpster with the top of that, and squeeze the rest of the way out. Kind of cool. At least we know it fits now if we gotta go do anything. Oh, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, let's stop by the apartment remodel we're working on. So I know I keep showing a lot of you guys this place, but it is just coming together so quickly. My contractors are just absolutely killing it. Better yet, I decided to go all out with a bathroom back here. So a lot of work is going into this. We've just made the bathroom about 3 times the size it was gonna be. So yeah, I'll show you that some other time, guys. I appreciate you watching the channel. I just stopped by here. That dumpster was so light that I'm gonna throw a couple things in there, get some more room in this building for us to be able to work around. That way we're not tripping over stuff. But I'll catch you in the next one. Keep grinding. And when, things aren't going to plan, figure it out. I'll catch you next time.